Welcome everybody to episode 186 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We are your hosts, Adam, Amy, and Russell Gibson. I'd lost track of the episode numbers there for a sec with the amount of emergency pods we were doing last week. I tell you what.
And then because we did an extra emergency pod, it changed the order that we recorded it in. So it's all over the place. But don't worry, this week
we're back to normal.
Yeah. People who have extreme OCD, we apologize for what we did to you. But
sorry, not sorry. Okay. It's the NBA. It's the NBA did it, really.
Yeah. It's Adam Silver's fault if you wear a tinfoil hat.
That's it. It's all for the the future of the league. Speaking of the future of the league, shall we kick it off with some WNBA this week?
Please. You know how much I love WNBA at the moment, so let's go to it. So this story is from @RunGoodLife. He's on Twitter. It actually does some really cool stuff. I have no idea what his affiliation is. I probably should deep dive into it a little bit further. Basically, he just called everybody clowns, and the reason he called everyone clowns is because the entire allocation of Prism WNBA first off the line sold out at $2,200 a box, and for people at home in the land of Oz, that's around $3,500 a box. The exchange rate at the moment is effing horrendous, and so
pretty bad.
I think if you're doing a comp on this, you can say, well, that's actually far more expensive than what WNBA currently is sitting at the moment. And I think, from a practical standpoint, it just makes it almost impossible to break. I think in terms of, getting your... I'm very reluctant to say get your money back, but let's use the phrase getting some value out of it, because I think that's what WNBA has been famous for the last few years, is I feel like you go into the WNBA breaks, actually it's a bit of fun, you actually get a little bit of value back out of it, but I just think if you don't hit a massive Caitlin Clark, you've just spent $3,300, $3,500 on a box and got a sweet cup of coffee out of it. So it's really tough.
Yeah, it's annoying that this product and let's let everybody that is playing at home and not completely sure with the WNBA product. This is, am I right in saying, is it Caitlin Clark's rookie year stuff? Is that the reason it's...
This is her rookie year stuff.
So this is the rookie year Caitlin Clark WNBA jersey, like...
It's a good year. It's just other rookies in there too. Cameron Brink's in there, and there's the girl from Chicago who's also a bit of a gun. Like, it's not just sort of a one...
All right, but
person box. But
if Caitlin Clark's not in this set, does it sell out at $2,200 a box?
No, probably a half or a third of that. Like,
yeah. Like, I mean, not discrediting the other players.
Yeah, so
I feel like
Prism
Caitlin
the last
Clark
couple of years has been between 200 and 300 AUD a box. So basically it's 10x.
Crazy.
It's
insane. Like, and look, I understand the post here, and it's like, thanks for calling everybody a bunch of clowns. They've just made it impossible for the average collector to get in on this product by just buying it out.
Yeah, look, I suppose, so my two takeaways from this, and we could even use this as a closing statement if you wanted to, is that I think this legitimizes WNBA. I think that it's gone from maybe something that was a fringe product or a fringe interest to, clearly now this has established itself as something that people want to get into. But also, too, it also says to me that boxes aren't really for collectors anymore. They're for breakers. I think that's the really big thing that's coming through to me so clearly on this, because again, this was also what was great about WNBA. You could get a box of this and not stress about it. If you hit, you hit. If you didn't, you didn't. And it was not a massive deal. Whereas with this, I think this almost takes it back to what you would be doing for select NBA, iMac. It's in that sort of same price range now.
It's insane. It's actually
more expensive.
And I don't know if I like that. I still think the everyday person would like to experience opening packs of cards. And
absolutely. This is
sort of taking that away and forcing people into a different area might backfire for the hobby.
This is the Caitlin Clark effect in full swing.
Yeah, for sure.
Alrighty, it is NBA trade deadline week, which is my favorite day of the year.
We were busy. We were so busy this week.
In my BC years, I would actually schedule myself for a day off from my normal shift work, so I could just sit there and all day just watch the trades roll through.
Trade them. Yeah, yeah.
Obviously, my life is never going to be the same after, obviously, conceiving children. I'm not asking for sympathy, but it is what it is.
But it's very
I still
interesting.
enjoyed the
Yeah.
deadline, but I just didn't take the day off to soak it up. So we're going to
But
go through every trade today.
Pre-podcast, we could just sit back and enjoy it and have a chat about it.
For
Whereas
real.
it was emergency pod. It was busy.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. All right. We're going to do every trade today, so let's get started. Marcus Smart is going to the Wizards with Colby Jones, Alex Len, and a 2025 first-round pick via the Grizzlies. This is a really interesting one to me because actually the Wizards have really upgraded their talent here. Colby Jones, I was actually pretty excited about. I'm a little bit surprised that they've given up on him so early. He kind of looks like a decent prospect. I think Marcus Smart is going to be suffering in hell in the Wizards because this guy has the reputation as being ultra competitive to the point of just like literally being a maniac. So
did they let him go? Did they just let him go?
I don't think so. I actually think for the Wizards, this is a really good cultural pickup because the other thing that the Wizards, and we're going to touch on this a little bit later, is they got rid of Kuzma, who's sort of one of the league's leaders in coasting on their talent and not fulfilling, what they could do. So I think moving Kuzma out, getting Marcus Smart in, that's a really big deal for me. So yeah, good, good for them. Good for the Wizards. This is a massive get for them. The Grizzlies get 2 second-round picks. Marvin Bagley, he's just going around the league at this point in time, and Johnny Davis. The Kings get Jake Lavaria. Yeah.
Look, I mean, it's not a deep trade as far as moves being made around the league, but yeah, I think they're moving pieces, second string pieces where they need to go.
I think the Wizards are the clear winner here. Yep. And when was the last time that we said that about the Washington Wizards, that they're a winner in all of this?
Maybe they're just trying to accumulate some picks and I don't know.
Yeah. Marcus Smart, PSA 10 silver. Population on this is 19. This is his 2014 rookie. Yep. This is down crazy. If you look at this the last couple of months, this is just a straight downhill. This is trading at $40 USD at the moment, down from $185, which is almost the max actually that it got up to. So look, at $40, I've got no problems with that. Actually, I think that's a really tidy little pickup. You would hate to be the person who paid $185 for it. Yeah. And the next sale was $40, so that's for sure. So the Toronto Raptors get Brandon Ingram.
Now this is an interesting trade. I don't think hobby-wise we're looking at crazy stuff, but Brandon Ingram finally on the move.
So this one is very head-scratching for me because in my head, I'm like, the Raptors are trying to lose games. They're trying to get the Cooper flag, stake as many, ping pong balls as what they can. And then they go out and get Brandon Ingram. Maybe Ingram's not going to play this year at all, so that actually fits into their...
That fits in if they get Flag and Ingram.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like maybe they're planting some seeds.
Yeah. The Pelicans get Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, a first-round pick and a second-round pick. Look, I actually have no problems with this at all. They're getting 2 pieces of draft equity out of this.
Yeah.
They're getting a piece who's Kelly Olynyk. I don't know what his contract is, but I don't think it's anything crazy. And Bruce Brown is on a very friendly deal that even if they like him or they don't like him, they can move him on for another asset. I think that's fine. Ingram wanted out. He wanted $50 million a year. Yeah. The interesting sort of narrative for me, though, is that the Raptors now have to pay this guy and how they're going to pay Scotty Barnes. And they just signed Emmanuel Quickly to an insane deal in the offseason, which I think that's actually going to cause a little bit of salary cap stress for them. So that's going to be an interesting one for me. I'm a bit confused about what the Raptors' strategy is here, though. So for me, this is very much a wait and see type deal. But
he's been injury prone quite a lot, Ingram. So it wouldn't be surprised if they wrap him up in cotton wool. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. This year might be a write-off for him. Absolutely. His base PSA 10 just last sold for $15. His silver just last sold for $60. Yeah. Population on this is 203. I've got no problems with that. I think for a buy low opportunity, that's really cool. At its maximum, it sold for $1,300.
The silver actually sold for $2,500. Now remember, this guy was drafted by the Lakers, so there was a lot of hype early. So
yeah, an insane amount of hype there. Look, I think the Raptors win this trade. I don't think they gave up a lot to get increase their talent level. It's just I just don't know what they're doing with their sort of overall prospectus. Yep. Alrighty. Jimmy Butler trade, we covered this in depth.
So
If
last
you'd like
episode,
to listen to
yeah.
185, please
Yep.
go back and check that out because we've done that for 15 minutes. I don't think we even need to mention it again other than go back and listen to that.
There's only one change to the announced trade on that day, and that is Dennis
Yep.
Schroeder didn't end up with the Pistons. Well, oh no, he ended up with the Pistons, not the Jazz.
I'm really confused.
They're just
about
trying to
all
get
this.
Dennis Schroeder to every team in the NBA.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Hey, maybe
Slowly.
we should reread this because actually this trade is probably bigger than what we talked about the
It's a
other day.
lot more
So
complicated than
yeah, the Warriors get Butler, 2 second-round picks and cash. The Heat get Wiggins, Kyle Anderson, Davion Mitchell, a protected first.
Yep.
The Jazz get Josh Richardson, KJ Martin, a 28-second, 2031 second. God, would that go in that
more
far
cash
into the future?
considerations. Yep.
And cash. Pistons get Lindy Waters, Schroeder, a second.
Jazz via Wizards.
The Raptors get PJ Tucker from the Jazz. So I think that means he's been traded twice in the trade period too, right? A 26-second and cash. So yeah, really interesting one there.
Very complicated
All right,
trade.
This actually one I want to talk to you. If we can talk on this one for like 5 minutes, this would make me happy. The Cavaliers get DeAndre Hunter. The Hawks get in return Karis LeVert, Georges Niang, 3 second-round picks and 2 pick swaps. This is really interesting because the Hawks actually owe their pick out this year, so it's in their best interest for them to try and win more games. And I would have said the best player in this trade is DeAndre Hunter. He's a legitimate 3-and-D guy. And the other thing that they would be trying to do is get under the tax, but actually they've increased their total taxable salary. So for me, this just makes no sense at all for the Hawks on any level. So if you said to me, oh, they're ducking the tax, they're saving some money. Okay, fantastic. You've just saved yourself $25 million. That's fine. But to then go more salary and get a worse player back, I don't think Karis LeVert's going to help them. For me, that skill set is a little bit crossover with Trae Young. The guy needs the ball in his hand a lot. He can get buckets, but is that really what that team needs? It's for me, this is just really, really confusing. So I'd love to hear your opinion on this because
I feel like
what are they doing?
Maybe they're just trying to. I think Hunter to the Cavs is good.
Yeah,
the Cavs is good. The Hawks
really
are
good for the
their
Cavs,
options,
right?
But the Hawks might be testing different options. They might not see Hunter as a long term. They might not be able to afford him down the track. Downgrade his pieces and get some extra real estate, extra second picks, pick swaps. It gives them flexibility. I think is what the Hawks are looking for, and they might be doubling down in different areas. So Hunter might be someone they really couldn't afford down the track and afford to offer something big.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of talk around the trade period about teams trying to be smarter with regards to how much tax they're paying as well and hitting different aprons and things.
And look, maybe that's the Hawks' long-term plays. They're actually going to save money in the long term because Hunter is still under contract for 2 more years.
Yep.
21 million this year, 23 next year, 24.9. So basically 25 million next year. That is a lot of money. But at the same time, I actually think the Cavaliers have almost had a revolving door of people at the starting 3. Who is actually their starting 3? For me, Hunter is going to be their starting 3-man for the next at least 3 years. There's no reason in my mind he's not going to be their starting player. He'll be 27 this year, 28, 29 the next 2 years. Like, that's NBA prime. So, this one is just such a. I think the absolute win here is the Cavs because also too.
Hell yeah, they're really consolidating and building on what they want for the for their look for the playoffs.
Yeah, he definitely fits what their team needs. I think the other thing too is to add is that no one expected the Cavaliers to be so good this year, and so to add another piece to the team that actually is going to help them right now and also fill a need that they have. I think this is just absolutely a home run. I don't think they even overpaid for him, in any sort of
I think they wanted to give the impression they were prepared to overpay. Do you know what I mean? Like they offered all this extra stock and stuff. Maybe they didn't really play as hardball as they want. They're like, oh, if that's what we can get for him, this is great.
Yeah.
And the Hawks wanted to play ball. It's great.
Yeah, maybe. So, DeAndre Hunter this year, 19 points a game, 2.6 threes made per game on 39% clip.
He was like
85%
pick overall.
Yeah. He probably hasn't been the best pick ever, but at the same time, He's
But
not a
he's
bad
sneaky.
NBA player.
It's been a few years now, and
4
now,
rebounds a game, 1.5 assists, zero point 0.8 steals. Let's call that one. He doesn't get any block shots, just 0.1 per game. Look, I'm all in on this. This is
Seems
probably
good.
one of my favorite sort of, nerd trades, if you want to
Yep.
call it that. I'm
Yeah.
just, really all in on this trade. So
Well, to make it hobby relevant, the last time Caris Levert's rookie card sold was $20, silver PSA. There we go.
I mean, what does
Last
that
sale.
say? Yeah.
Last sold. Doesn't say what the date was, does it? Oh no, May last year for $20.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, yeah. So at least it's sold. That's
Yeah.
12 transactions in the last 2 years. Probably 11 more, 12 more than I thought there would be.
So DeAndre Hunter, population on that is 978. That last sold for $23.
Yeah,
I'd probably rather have a Hunter at this point.
I'll take a Hunter for sure.
Look, it probably will tick up a little bit considering he's going to a winning team, maybe going to go to the finals, but at the same time, I wouldn't load up too much on this guy. The population on that is really high.
Yeah, but it's from a very high year, true. Very
That's
true.
right. He's a complimentary piece. I don't think there's a lot there. Yeah.
How about we go through this trade quickly, then we go to a break, and then we can break
Sure,
it
mate.
out after it. So
Let's do that. What do you got for me?
the Los Angeles Lakers acquire Mark Williams from the Charlotte Hornets. In exchange, the Lakers will be giving up Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, 2031 unprotected first-round pick, and a 2030 pick swap. So, quite a bit of real estate there. How about we go to a break, our first break of the show, and then we can really unpack this while Dalton connects off in Charlotte, unpacking his gear and, getting settled into Charlotte life. We can have a quick break, and then we'll talk about it after the break. What do you reckon?
All right. Let's do it. FastBreakTradingCards.com. Thank you so much for your support. Please go to FastBreakTradingCards.com. Once you get to their website, you will find an absolute huge range of sports trading cards, Fanatics authentic memorabilia, entertainment TCG, supplies grading, pre-order trading cards, and gift cards. Now, my favorite thing about this shop is their location. 75 Tulip Street in Cheltenham, Friday 12 till 6, Saturday 9 till 5, Sunday 10 till 4. Heaps of singles in the cabinets, heaps of signals to go through in the box to find some bargains, and the lads will give you fantastic advice, support, and customer service. Go down and say hello to Alvaro and John. They will definitely take care of you guys. Give them a call on 039968 550 and ask them for also some advice on your purchases and also what to do with your trading cards. Thank you so much to the guys at Fast Break Trading Cards. Adam, we're back. Let's keep going with this Lakers trade.
That big trade. Sorry, I was just on the Fast Break website looking for a Luka Doncic jersey. Anyway,
in their Fanatics memorabilia. Yeah.
Unfortunately, I just got some news while we're on our break. It looks as if the Mark Williams didn't actually pass his fitness test. So Dalton Connect and Cam Reddish, hope you enjoyed your brief holiday. Paid trip to Charlotte just to look around. We'll need you back in LA as well as our unprotected first round pick.
Yeah, so look, if I'm wearing my tinfoil hat right now, I reckon the Lakers just got a little bit of the heebie-jeebies about giving up an unprotected first.
For injured goods.
Yeah.
Well, the worry is his injury history, right? So maybe it was like he needs to putt. Maybe it sounds like the Lakers had it written into the contract that he had to be at a certain level, and there were too many undisclosed issues with the guy. So maybe
I find that a little bit ironic, really. They've just managed Anthony Davis for the last few years, so it's not like they can't tolerate a big guy who's got some injuries. Look, I'm sure that he is an injured guy and all the rest of it, but I would also say too, they paid a lot for this kid. Like, I think what they gave up for Mark Williams was an absolute overpay, and if they've worked out a way to get out of that, and maybe they're going to pick up a veteran big off the waiver wire.
Well, Dwight Howard keeps tweeting out.
Yeah.
So
look, Mo Bamba's going to be on the waiver wire. Daniel Theus is allegedly being released too this week.
Theus
like, I think those two guys
Bamba,
are just as good as Mark Williams. I mean, look, anyway, who knows? Shall we move on?
We shall. I'm just glad that we've got the Lakers got their pick back and their new little draftee. It's good.
Yeah.
Good.
Alrighty, so this is a bit of a long one too. It's a very complicated trade. You could say that the Bucks receive Kyle Kuzma, Jericho Sims, 25 second and a 26 second.
Yep.
The Wizards get Chris Middleton, AJ Johnson, a 2028 first round pick swap.
Yep.
Knicks get DeLon Wright, the rights to Hugo Besson,
Okay.
and cash. The Spurs get Patrick Baldwin Jr. via the Wizards and cash consideration. So I think realistically here, the two main pieces that got moved was Chris Middleton and Kyle Kuzma. So why don't we talk about that? I think we should talk about Chris Middleton first, just in terms of NBA, the ladder, in terms of going from top to bottom. I think Middleton's a champion. He was a massive part of the Bucks winning their chip. Yep. And for me, this is a little bit of a sort of a sad goodbye, or the long kiss, good night, I suppose, in that sense. It's a bit like watching the Warriors the last few years just sort of deteriorate in front of our eyes.
Yeah.
Look, I think the issue with Chris Middleton has been his injuries the last couple of years. He's been very much unreliable. I think that's the best way to really summarize him. I mean, in saying that, he's actually been playing this year, but he just has been on a pretty severe sort of minutes restriction. So
yeah.
It looks like the most minutes he's actually played this year is about 31 minutes. Is that it?
Yeah, he's been on a minutes restriction. His health hasn't been great. All the talk with the Bucks has been wait until Middleton's back, and they have righted this season. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like they're so dependent on keeping him healthy that maybe it was time to sort of change direction.
Yeah. Look, maybe he's more washed than what I sort of have that image in my head of him. Like I sort of still remember him as the champion from a couple of years back. So
agreed.
It's a bit of a tough one for me because I don't think he's a worse player than Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah, but maybe Kuzma just stays healthier. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe they just need that consistency.
Maybe he can give them 30 minutes a night instead of
I'm actually surprised at his sold prices. Now, look, the Silver Prism hasn't sold for over a year, with the last sale being January 14th, 2024. But the last sold price was $255. It's actually not a terrible price. For like, I didn't think as highly of him in the scheme of things, but yeah.
Well, I would probably add two things to that. The population on it is extremely low. It's 29.
29, true.
And then also, too, if you look at the all-time data, he's down 85%. So at one point, he was actually more than $2,000. So I think it depends, when you got on or off the Middleton train. Look, I think for me at 255, you could put that money towards something else that might have a bit of potential
to go up rather than down.
Yeah. Or just like a really nice autograph of, you can get half a Jokic autograph for that much at the moment. Like, Jokic autos you can pick up even on card for around $400 Aussie at the moment. Like, I'd probably rather have that than a Middleton rookie, to be perfectly honest. But that's just me, obviously.
So my question now transfers to Kuzma.
Yeah, I think we have to talk about Kuzma in this spot because I think hobby-wise, he's probably the guy that's got the most potential to get the rise here, just for the fact he's going to a relevant team. I think
he's going to a strong team rather than. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I think that the Bucks have got ideas of winning the championship. My issue is that is Damian Lillard a championship point guard and is Kyle Kuzma a championship small forward? I think you're asking.
Well, he's won a championship as a small forward.
Okay. But do you think that he will be that again? Is that what you're saying?
No. They've both got. But he knows how to win. He's been on. He was on the 2020 Lakers. He got to win a chip. He's been around veteran leadership like LeBron. So being with Giannis now might be a good thing. He might have taken some of those lessons. He might take them across to Milwaukee. That said, I'm not going to say that it's been a huge spike. Although he is up over 50% on card ladder, but that's up from $20 or $25 to $40.
So he averaged 8.5 points, 2.8 rebounds, and 0.5 assists in 6 games in the 2020 NBA Finals.
He did nothing. But he watched. He was near around LeBron.
So the question is can he do that again, and
He
can the
can
Bucks
watch
win a
Giannis.
championship?
He can watch Giannis and Lillard go to work.
So probably my recollection was that the Middleton did a lot more than that when they won the championship.
I feel like Kuzma
Yeah,
will have to do more
yeah,
and will probably do more given if you look at that team, a lot of the scoring would have come from Bron and A. Like, do you know what I mean? AD and LeBron take a lot of the shine off what you're able to do. Kuzma probably underperformed there, but yeah, they
yeah.
wanted him to do more scoring. I think he'll be given opportunities though as a third string scorer.
So versus Middleton, who got 24 points, 6.3 rebounds, and 5.3 assists in 6 games in the NBA Finals.
But that was without Lillard. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he was the second string option there. If Kuzma's the second string option, he'd clearly be scoring 20 plus points.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like he's now the third option because it's Giannis, Lillard, and Kuzma.
Yeah.
Or maybe not even Kuzma as the third option. Like he's just a position now. Like the
I just
dynamics
think
changed. What's Middleton done this year though? He hasn't averaged 20, has he?
nah.
That's what I mean. That dynamic with Lillard on the floor, maybe he doesn't fit into that.
I just think that Kyle Kuzma is the American Ben Simmons in that they have so much talent and they just haven't been able to maximize and use the gifts that they're being given. Like, I don't want to, over dramatize this, but, he has, the size of Magic Johnson, and he's maybe got the talent of, say, Vinnie Johnson from back in the day with Detroit. Do you know what I mean? It's like Kyle Kuzma shouldn't be averaging 8 points a game in the finals. So that's my gripe about Kyle Kuzma. I just feel like he's one of those guys that just never does enough and has never been able to maximize his talent. So how this helps the Bucks, I'm really reluctant about this, and I just think that, look, maybe the Bucks had to shake their roster up. They had to do something, and this is the piece that they would they have been better to get DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah, probably. A
3-and-D dude that can just come in and...
Well, they had Grayson Allen doing that, and they got rid of him too.
Look, Jericho Sims, I think he's just going to be a bench guy. He might give them 8 or 10 minutes a game, whatever on that. Maybe the other one we should really briefly talk about is AJ Johnson, because not the word, but the conversation that was had around this guy is that they're giving up on him too soon. The 23rd pick from the 2024
By sending him to
draft.
Washington, that's giving up on someone too soon, because there's no way being in Washington is going to help your hobby value.
6'5" guard, 20 years of age. Why are they giving up him on so soon? That's probably like also I'm a little bit in that camp.
They're trying to go in now. They want to try and win it this year, and I think it's Middleton's inability to stay healthy, which is why they've gone for someone that scores similarly. Kuzma this season is averaging more than Middleton, and I think they just need the extra firepower maybe.
Yeah.
But everyone's saying defense wins championships, and Milwaukee are trying to disagree with that. Because Kuzma's not a stopper, that's for sure.
No. Clippers Hawks trade. Bogdanovich is going to the Clippers. The Hawks are getting Terrence Mann, Bones Highland, 25 second, 26 second, and a 27 second. So obviously,
it's a pretty simple trade, isn't it?
The Hawks are getting some future assets here. Bones Highland was released today. That's not in this press release, but I definitely know that that's what's happened. So basically, Terrence Mann and 3 seconds for Bogdan. Look, clearly to me, the Clippers are in win mode now. So they've picked up Bogdan, which I think is an upgrade over both Bones and also Terrence Mann. I like Terrence Mann, but Bogdanovich is like a serious competitor who can hit big game shots. I actually think he'll work really well with James Harden. I think defensively, those two together are going to be a bit of a problem, but offensively, they're going to be actually quite good together.
Yep.
And I probably also say too, this is a little bit of, okay, Bones Highland, you have a lot of talent. You're a crazy dude. You've got charisma, but you're almost a little bit too crazy to be in the NBA. So I kind of hope this is a bit of a wake up call for him. So this is, his third stop in the league now, isn't it?
Yeah.
I kind of hope he gets his act together. He's a good.
You'd like to
hope
a good
so,
kid, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of people that you hope to get their act together, the Bucks are going to receive the Kevin Porter Jr., and in return, the Clippers will receive Marchon Beauchamp. So my take on this is that the Clippers getting back a professional scorer here. I think Beauchamp can put the ball in the hole.
Yep.
Without all of the baggage that comes along with Kevin Porter Jr.
And the Bucks
On
are
the
getting a
flip
wild
side to
card.
this, yeah, that's right. So the Bucks here, Porter could come off the bench one game in the playoffs or in the finals and get 30. Like he has that much
Yeah,
talent.
fair.
He only has to do it one game in the playoffs, win them one game, win them one series, and the risk is absolutely worth it. So I actually like this trade a lot for the Bucks. I think in terms of them getting the most absolute talent,
Yeah.
they've got that. I also think too that somehow the Bucks locker room is probably a bit more stable to handle someone like Kevin Porter Jr. And I think that's really important if you're bringing in a known knucklehead.
Yeah.
So yeah, kind of, I'll give this one A+ to the Bucks. I think that's a huge risk, but at the same time, very much worth taking.
Yeah.
I think now's a really good time to look at Kevin Porter Jr. stock too, because people put some money into this kid. People sold him in an absolute panic and rightfully so, when his legal case was happening. And then there was also a bit of buzz around this kid when he came back, and then there was a bit more people, buying Kevin Porter Jr. again. So
yeah.
PSA 10 silver, there's 1,056 of these, so there is a lot of them. It last sold for $20. Look, I've got to say, this is almost a stay away for me.
Right. You got $50 to spend. Do you buy 2 of these? Do you buy 2 Caris LeVerts, or do you buy Kyle Kuzma? Or do you keep your money? Don't allow to keep your money. Actually, you got to buy one of these.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Can I look at some of the other trades we've talked about?
No, these are the 3 picks. It's a kiss, kill, marry scenario.
Hang on a second. What about DeAndre Hunter?
Hunter, is he $40 as well?
Yeah, I could get a Hunter for around that price.
Done. Hunter's the call. Easy.
Yeah. Hunter for me is also sort of a personality match too. Like I quite like that guy.
Hunter's not on card ladder.
Yeah, he is. It's
he?
just you need to put DE apostrophe. That's a bit of a trick. So if you just do Hunter, he's there. So population on the Hunter is 978. Last sold for 23. I could almost get 2 of those ad.
Oh, there he is. It's just spelled differently on the thing. Okay.
Bit of a bugger.
Stupid website. I mean, it's
technology.
A great website.
It's great when it works. Horrible when it doesn't.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
Alrighty, the Raptors receive PJ Tucker at 26-second and cash. The Heat get Davion Mitchell. Look, this is a Heat guy through and through. I think he's going to excel in this environment. This is huge for Davion Mitchell. I think if you are holding and collecting Davion Mitchell, it is actually important.
You got to show the Davion Mitchells that you're holding.
As an ex-Kings supporter, of course, I've gone into Kings breaks and picked up some stuff. So look, he has some really nice cards. He's got a blank slate. There's a bunch of other like nice Davion Mitchell stuff too. So I wouldn't particularly discount this move out as a.
And now that he's gone to the Heat,
nothing.
That blank slate is white hot. Get it?
Oof.
Float?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, I think Mitchell is good, and I've sort of been saying this for a while. I also would say he's the classic. You need to put him into the right situation to succeed. I actually thought Raptors would be good for him, but I think when they paid quickly, that wasn't fantastic for him. Yeah, I think that was really tricky.
He might do well in Miami. Might be good.
See what happens. I think it's going to fit his play style. It's going to fit his personality type. I like that a lot. That's a really good pickup for the Heat.
Yeah. I mean, we Pistons acquire Schroeder. That's
yeah. You do this one. Yeah.
This is tying into the Butler trade.
Sure.
So the Dennis Schroeder, Lindy Waters, the third, and the future second round for KJ Martin and a future second round. So it's
so complicated, isn't it? It's like a trade and another trade.
The other trade. Yeah. So that's why it switched from the Jazz to the Pistons. Yeah. So this trade was done after the first lot was sort of done. So that's why Schroeder ended up on the
Dennis Schroeder from Jazz via Warriors. Yeah, it's complicated, isn't it?
Yeah. So and then we've got an actual, I guess you'd call this an actual trade. And then that was Yusuf Nurkic is leaving the Suns and off to Charlotte. This one didn't get rescinded. For Yusuf Nurkic and a 2026 first round pick going to the Hornets. Suns received Cody Martin, Vassell, is it Misic?
Yeah, that's a hard one. Misic. Yeah.
Misic. And a 2026 second round pick.
Yep.
So we all know Nurkic wasn't happy in Phoenix.
Yeah, and they weren't going to play
Bit
him.
of
That was the other thing.
disciplinary action. They weren't
He'd
playing
been
him.
put out of the rotation.
I'm
So
surprised they didn't try and manufacture something to get him to LA, maybe being a center and all. But it's probably not the type that Luka would want to play with. So
yeah, not sure on that one. Maybe a bit too much salary for the Lakers to take on.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, and I can quickly cover off the next one because the Pistons land KJ Martin for a bunch of picks and cash considerations.
So I think KJ Martin is a professional basketball player.
That's very accurate.
Yeah. And I think that's what the Pistons need at this point. They just need to keep hitting singles.
After the success of Tobias Harris, they're like, what else have you got for us, Philadelphia? Yeah.
So Sixers just clear a bit of cap space. I think that's totally fine. Let's go to a break.
Yeah, let's take a break, and then we'll get back into some more trades.
MelbourneCardtell.au. Thank you so much to Team Melbourne Cartel and Darren for all of your support. It's been wonderful working with you. It's been an absolute pleasure. Now, the MelbourneCardtell.au offer repacks. That is their bread and butter. Darren puts a lot of effort and time into building them up. And basically what he's trying to do is build a 1-in-4 ratio of a repack. So for example, 1-in-4 cards, you should be getting a very nice card back out of that. He doesn't try to build it up so it's just one really good card at the top and then, basically not much at the bottom at all. He wants to get that consistency through all of the products. The other thing that Darren is really trying hard to do is release a full checklist so you can look at every single card that's put into his repacks. There's nothing hidden. There's nothing secret about it. All of the information is right there in front of you. Darren's also started to sell some really good card protection. I bought a whole box of the GTI one touches where you can put the penny sleeve into the card. I've been very, very happy with them.
Nice.
Very aesthetically pleasing, easy to use. They actually come with a penny sleeve that's custom fit for that particular product. Fantastic. Darren's also got a promo code for us, CompThis10. Use that at checkout. You'll get a 10% discount on all of your purchases. Adam, we're back.
We are back. Ready for some more trades?
Yeah, I just wanted to really quickly just go back a little bit. I actually, before the Lakers rescinded their trade, I thought they had the best offseason in terms of collecting future assets because if you look at it, they got Nurkic and also a first-round pick. They would have got Dalton Connect, an ex-first-round pick.
Yeah, the Hornets,
plus also another first-round pick from the Lakers. Like, that's a really good return.
They keep getting draft picks. They don't keep much. Like, they've got Ball. They, you know what I mean? Like, it seems like they're a breeding ground to ship people off down the track.
I just think that if you're doing as poorly as what they are, there's no point trying to bring in pieces to win. I think you're better off just trying to... That's right. Like, take some future assets back. So that's probably my 2 cents on the... I actually think the Hornets did well. I just think that they were a little bit unlucky with that trade being rescinded. So anyway, it is what it is.
Fair.
Pacers deal away James Wiseman. The Raptors get him back also with some cash.
Nice.
And the Pacers get a second-round pick. Now, really interesting on that. The cash considerations is basically going to be covering the waiver fee for him. So... He's been released already.
Yeah.
Look, I think this is a little bit of a sad sort of ending for James Wiseman. I'm not too sure how many teams are going to be queuing up to sign this guy.
Yeah.
It really is a bit of a fall from grace from this kid. And I was hoping that would change after he was released from the Warriors and that, I thought the Pacers were actually a good landing spot for him. I think they treat bigs quite well there. And with their exceptional guard play of Halliburton,
we can't even, I don't know. He's not rebounding big. That's the problem.
Yeah, look, do you float him out to the Lakers?
No, can't rebound.
Huge body.
I don't know. He just doesn't. Yeah, I don't know.
This is a really tough one because a lot of people put money into this guy. A lot of people spent a lot of money buying the Warriors in breaks. And now Wiseman, he's raw silver selling for $1.
Yeah.
It really is a cautionary tale of, paying large money for
it's a big lesson about,
unverified prospects. Yeah. And also big guys. I think
Yeah.
you know, the hobby can be very cruel to big guys. I think it really is a takeaway
One
for
to
that
note
too.
for sure.
Yeah. This is a funny one, actually. I haven't heard of this dude. The Rockets receive Cody Zeller and a second round pick, and the Hawks get Alpha Kaba. And
Yeah,
this
the
guy
fact
doesn't
when
even
it
have a.
doesn't, no, if there's no hyperlink under the
There's no
player's name,
hyperlink. You literally took the words out of my mouth on that one. Yeah, that's a tough one. Should we Google who Alpha Kaba is and then
yeah, hell yeah. I'm in.
read his Wikipedia or something like that?
Google.
Alrighty, a French Guinean professional
29-year-old.
basketball player.
He's a big.
Yeah, he's a big guy. Originally drafted in 2016.
Yep. There's not much about him.
And then withdrew, put his name back into the draft for 2017. And he was the final pick in the draft by the Atlanta Hawks. And the Houston Rockets acquired his draft rights. Okay.
Wow.
Oh, well.
You never know. He might make an appearance in the league yet.
Yeah. A 30-year-old rookie.
Strange days.
It's kind of a cool story for him, though.
If he gets a game, it'd be great. The Hawks just need.
If they need a big guy.
That's it.
Yep. Alrighty.
Ooh.
This one's a funny one for me too. The Wizards get Reggie Jackson. I actually think Reggie Jackson's one of those guys that
Sneaky.
he's a good, but
yeah,
just gets passed around like a bag of potato chips.
Yeah.
And the
I
Wizards...
find it, yeah, well, I was going to say, oh my God, Jay Butler got traded. It's the wrong Jay Butler.
Yeah, different one.
Jared Butler.
The Wizards get a first-round pick out of this. Again, this is what the Wizards need. They don't need to be doing.
They don't want a bunch of
crazy.
They've traded a bunch of their second rounds to upgrade to a first-round pick. I think that's very
clever. Get first-round
clever.
picks in. Get good veterans in. This is what the Wizards need.
Yeah.
They're an absolute mess at the moment.
Yeah.
Jared Butler is a 3-and-D guy. He actually, I think, will help the 76ers. He's very much a Daryl Morey guy. I see that. I get that 100%. A 27 second, 28 second, and 2 second-round picks in 2030.
Cool.
I mean,
yeah,
Daryl Morey, again,
chips. Just chips.
He loves second-round picks, doesn't he? He just absolutely loves it.
They're just playing with extra poker chips. They're like they sweeten deals with second-round picks.
Yeah.
This
the
is
Houston
a
Rockets receive Jaden Springer, a 27 second, a 2030 second, and the Celtics get a 2031 second round pick back. So essentially this is just a salary dump for the Celtics.
Yep.
He was a 2021 first round pick at pick 28. Look, the problem with the Celtics is they are absolutely loaded. You know, it's really is a blessing and a curse, I think, playing on the Celtics. You know,
For sure.
This kid actually could be good. And just that we'll never know, basically.
Well, yeah, that's true. We're never going to know.
Yeah.
We're never gonna know.
Who won this trade? How much more do we break this down? I don't know.
That's not a one to really break down. I think we go to the
Let's
next
move
one.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
We could turn it into the Jaden Springer trade into an episode of Jerry Springer, but I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
We'll move to the... Now, Valanciunas, this is an interesting one. Your old team, the Sacramento Kings.
What are you talking about? They're dead to me.
Your former team.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dead and buried. They got to light the beam today. Receive Jonas Valanciunas. And the Wizards received, is it Sissoko?
Yep.
And 2 future second round picks. Why didn't they just take Gabe Vincent from the Lakers? Why couldn't the Lakers have picked up Valanciunas?
Yeah. This is a really funny one for me because do the Kings actually need another big guy? I'm actually not convinced that they do.
Sabonis is there.
If you go onto Kings Twitter, okay, maybe I haven't fully dumped the Kings yet. And there's some good Kings podcasts out there too. So they're actually saying that are the Kings actually going to play Big Jonas and also Sabonis at the same time? There's actually a little bit of legs for that because technically the best 3-point shooter in the league at the moment is Sabonis. So
you can stretch the floor with him.
Yeah, and actually Jonas will also step out and shoot that corner three a little bit too. So it's not as if you put out 2 big guys and then you lose all of your spacing. So look, maybe there is some legs to that. Maybe he's just going to be a really good backup 5.
Okay.
But at the same time, for me, I just think there's too much overlap there. And wouldn't you be better off seeing what City Sissoko's got, having
Yeah.
like another athletic wing there. I don't know. Like, so
It's a strange one. I don't see where it was coming from. I feel like the Wizards were just trying to even further clean up their image. Because I don't think the
sure.
30 the someone in their early 30s is where the Kings are headed. Sorry, the Wizards are headed.
Absolutely. Why did they get him in the first
They
place?
want some
Like, that's
youth.
what
They
I'd
want
say to
to,
that.
yeah.
Look, I think this is a good recovery for the Wizards. I think getting 2 seconds out of it,
Yep.
that's fantastic. Getting another young prospect to come in there
Draft
and,
stock. It's all about their draft stocks. Like actual
look, that's
tickets to play with, yeah.
I'm totally fine with that, man. Honestly, like I think
Mm,
it's just like
for
that's what
sure.
they should be doing. Maybe also the Kings didn't want the Lakers to get Jonas. Maybe they did it out of spite. I wouldn't put that past the Kings.
Yeah, that's true. Fair. See what happens.
I mean, who
Yeah,
knows?
no, that's true. Yeah, fair. Um, the next one is we've talked about this earlier. Daniel Tice has been traded to the Thunder for
Yeah,
cash considerations, and actually the Pelicans gave up Tice and a second round pick for these cash considerations,
yeah,
and then the Thunder proceeded to waive Tice. So
yeah. So actually, and that's been confirmed. I'm just reading that story
yeah,
now. So the other way you could look at this is that the Thunder bought a second round pick.
yeah, they've just paid cash for a second
Yeah,
round pick.
yeah, and that
Easy.
is very much a Thunder thing to do. They very much take
Yep.
people into cap space, blah 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 blah. Do that. That's fine. Yeah.
And then this is probably the last one that we haven't talked about. And that was a reaction, I guess. The second move the Mavericks have made. First one was a little bigger, but the Mavs received Caleb Martin from the Sixers in exchange for Quentin Grimes and a 2025 second rounder.
Yeah.
That was on the 4th of Feb. So yeah, an interesting one there.
So, all right, let's actually summarize this trade first, and then why don't we look a little bit big picture? So, what's your sort of breakdown of this trade
Yeah.
before we move big picture?
I don't know why they were going into. I think they're trying to construct a very specific roster now. They're definitely into win now territory, and they're looking for those people with a little bit more experience. So Grimes is a bit young. I just think Caleb Martin fits what they want to do in Dallas.
Yeah,
They're actually trying to build a specific roster. I don't know how well that works, given Anthony Davis gets injured by imaginary stuff. If you've seen his debut, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a plan in Dallas, and I don't know. Maybe there needs to be some kind of psych assessment.
yeah. So, looking at 76ers Reddit, is that actually these moves are for the future, and it's clearing up. So now they've got $18 million of cap space for next year.
Is that for the Sixers?
Yeah,
Yep.
which looking at their cap sheet, I don't understand how that's going to work.
Yeah. I don't know.
So
Sixers. Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
look, maybe they're going to do a Daryl Morey and pull off some insane move,
Maybe.
and this is going to look like genius. But for me, this is looks like a step back.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all of these moves seem to me actually just depleted their depth a little bit. I think Caleb Martin is an NBA pro. Why they're giving up on that? I think the Mavericks losing Luka Doncic do need to fill out their roster with a deeper roster to sort of somehow get some of that talent back that they've lost. And I think if you're also trading for a guy who's Anthony Davis, Luka's been injured this year, but I think, the running joke with Anthony Davis is
every other
he's
Davis.
injured
Yeah.
more days than he's not. So
Yeah.
you need someone to back him up. Look, I think Caleb Martin at a pinch can be the starting 4. He's probably a better suited 3, but that's fine. Look, I think
don't
the
know.
Mavericks.
I don't see. Yeah, I think they're trying to plot some stuff out, but I don't know
The Mavericks win this trade, but at the same time,
why.
did we talk about Nico getting security?
Not yet. I was going to say, given this is the last trade we haven't really reported in on, we could take a break now and then deep dive into the Mavericks a little bit, if you like.
Yeah, sure. All right. So I'll just finish this off. I'll just say, look, I think the Mavs have won this trade now, but actually what we should probably be looking at is the bigger picture. Maybe the 76ers win the bigger picture trade because they carve out future cap space. Anyway.
Yeah, spot on.
Yep. thank you to US Sports Cards Australia. Thank you so much to Ross and Adam, and sorry, I should say Ross and Michael, for all of your love and support over the years. For me, I really appreciate it. US Sports Cards Australia is a Australian-based card selling platform. I think is the best way to really talk about what Ross is now doing. They've got breaks for wrestling, WWE, baseball, NHL, NFL. They do all the pop culture stuff too, but Ross has really been putting a lot of time and effort into building up his single sales categories, which is essentially a consignment service where you send all of your cards into Ross. He'll list them onto the page, sell them for you, and send you back the cash. Easy as that. Go to ussportscardsaustralia.com.au. If you do want to submit your cards to Ross for sale, click on the three little noodles on the left-hand side and click on Check Out My Cards Australia. There is a submission form for you to fill out. Ross is actively seeking people to submit cards to. Yep. Alrighty, Adam, we're back. How you doing, buddy? Are you ready for the home stretch?
I'm ready for the home stretch. We've gone through a lot of trades tonight.
It's been fun. This is my wheelhouse.
It was a very active trade period, and I think there's a lot going on in the NBA. So the second half of the season is definitely going to be interesting. Next weekend is obviously All-Star weekend, which is going to be awkward for a lot of teams.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a fun weekend. And into the season, sure.
Hornets swap picks with the Thunder. A 29 second round via the Suns is what the Hornets receive, and the Thunder get a 2030 conditional second round pick via the Nuggets. Okay, that one is way over my head. I'm just going to let that one go. Can we actually recap the Spurs Kings trade? Because this actually seems to be a bit more padded out than what we talked about the other day.
Well, we were doing it on the emergency pod frequency.
Yeah.
Actually, before we do that, maybe I'll give a quick plug to the YouTube. We're still, I think we're 4 subscribers away from our milestone.
Yeah, we're so close.
It's so close, but those emergency pods were put up as VODs as well, where we broke all that down live in the moment. As they
got 146.
So it was we got 146. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, and you'd like to support the show, we would absolutely love it. If you jump onto YouTube, you don't have to click the bell for notifications, but hitting that subscribe button really shows your support for our show and the work we do and the content we make. And yeah, we're looking forward to giving away a box of cards.
Yeah.
So I just thought I'd shout that out. We're so close.
Thank you, Ed.
Some good engagement there on YouTube with people leaving comments. Shout out to Anthony Milne, who loves to throw in a comment here and there. And yeah, it's great to see the support on YouTube.
Bit more than here and there. He's huge.
All right, let's go back to the Fox trade. The Fox trade. Let's recap the Fox trade.
Spurs get Fox, Jordan McLaughlin. The Kings get Zach LaVine, Sidi Sissoko, who's already been moved on. A 25 first via the Hornets. 27 first via the Spurs. A 2031 first via the Wolves. 25 second from the Bulls. A 28 second from the Nuggies. A 28 second from the Bulls. The Bulls get Zach Collins, Kevin Huerter, Trey Jones, and a first-round pick from the Spurs in 25. So look,
wait. Spurs also received Russell Gibson as a supporter.
That's right.
And the
go
Kings
Spurs, go!
Yeah, that's it.
Look, it's not the best return for Zach LaVine, is it? Like only one first-round pick, particularly. The Luka trade has really changed the landscape on what you should get back for a star player, hasn't it? Because then you sort of say, well, that's actually the same amount of draft equity as what the Mavs got back for Luka, or was that just gross negligence?
Well, there's questions around that, but I think it's different to each circumstance and how bad the teams involved want it, what works for it, and the money, and I don't know. It's a bit crazy because I look at those picks and I'm like, are the Spurs picks going to be any good?
The Spurs pick this year, I think, will be, if that's unprotected, that will be pretty decent.
Okay. But now the Spurs are starting to push in to try and win. They're not going to be in the lottery anymore.
I was actually going to say it'll be a lottery pick.
I reckon the Spurs are trying to get in. So, yeah, it'll be... I don't know.
All right, let's take a quick look at the standings. So, in the West...
Oh, at the moment, the Spurs aren't looking great.
Thunder, Grizzlies, Nuggets, Lakers, Rockets. The Rockets have actually come down a little bit, but are
They're on a
still
7-game losing
dominating.
streak, aren't
The Wolves have had a huge bounce back. So the last 10 are 8-2. Clippers, Mavericks, Kings, Suns, then the Warriors, and then the Spurs.
Okay.
So I think for the Spurs to leapfrog the Warriors, Suns, Kings, Mavericks, and Clippers, man, that's going to be tough. That's a huge ask, and they're still 4 games behind the Warriors.
Yeah.
So that will be a decent pick, Ad.
Yeah.
Let's just assume it's unprotected.
Okay.
So that's not a terrible pickup for the Bulls. Actually, that is redeeming in my mind.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm interested, but it is interesting, especially with picks that are. I get worried when it talks about 2027 or 2031, or do you know what I mean? Like it's so far down the track, you don't know what the landscape of the league looks like, and you're literally rolling dice on these things.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So that the 28th second from the Nuggets and Bulls, who knows what it's going to be like. I mean, look, the 22nd from the Spurs, you're not counting on anything awesome coming back.
Yeah. Fair. I mean, unpacking this one's an interesting one. I'm just thinking ahead to the Luka trade, and I'm like, you know what? Max Christie's actually not a bad little throw-in to level up.
So let's talk about that. So if you want to hear more about the Fox trade, listen to episode 148. If you want to hear more about the Luka trade, listen to 182.
Yep.
So let's just quickly read through the Luka trade. Lakers get Luka, Kleber, Markieff Morris. The Mavs get Anthony Davis, Max Christie, 29 first. Utah gets Jalen Hood-Schifino, 25 second, and a 25 second from the Clippers. Yeah, so I think you're the most qualified person to speak about all of this.
I think Kleber and Morris are just pieces that Dallas needed to make the salary work. But as far as Max Christie, he's had a sneaky good season.
Yeah, definitely.
So to get, obviously, Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic are the key pieces here. And the question is, how far a difference is it between Davis and Luka? Now, no, as far as value-wise, on the court. Luka's touted as one of those top 3 to 5 players that cannot be traded or are untradeable. So
I assumed he was untradeable, definitely.
Well, everyone assumed he was going to be untradeable, but it's such a high asset. They've made the call to trade. Anthony Davis, he's not like, do you know what I mean? Like, he's not boiled lollies. He's a very, very serviceable big, one of the best bigs in the league. And on his day, he's a great defensive player. So Max Christie's in like year 2 or 3. And he's actually putting up some seriously good numbers. Dallas debut was very good, very solid game against the Rockets as well. Like, Max Christie can ball. And to throw in a first round pick here, I don't think it's all that off balance. I just think you've needed to put these 3, and honestly, I wouldn't even consider Kleber and Morris part of this trade. Like, they don't factor at that level. But I think Max Christie is a solid role player. Like, I think he can be a starting guard.
I don't disagree with anything you're saying.
But
I think
the question is where Luka is this one giant piece.
So, okay, my response to this is, if this was in your fantasy league and it was a keeper league and you were the commissioner and it was AD for Luka straight up, would you veto the trade or would you let it go through?
I'd have concerns around it.
Right. So that's kind of where I'm at too.
But I think Anthony Davis, Max Christie in a first rounder for Luka is fine. It's not smart for the Mavericks, but it's...
I think they should have gotten at least 5 picks back. Like,
look
at what the Kings... Adam, look at what the Kings got back.
The Lakers gave up 4 picks to get Davis.
Look at what the Kings got back for Fox.
But Davis is worth 4 picks.
A 27 first, a 31 first, and 3 seconds, right?
Wait, go back to the Anthony Davis trade.
Look at what the Jazz got back for Rudy Gobert. And then look at what the Mavs got back for Luka. Like, it's criminal. So I think the second thing I have to say to this is, what is this trade going to look like in 5 years? The argument could be made Anthony Davis is washed up. All of his little injuries have caught up with him. He's not even in the league anymore.
Right.
I don't think he's that type
No,
of guy who like
but for
lives and dies for
context,
basketball. Yeah.
what did the Lakers pay to get Anthony Davis? Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart,
Yeah.
and a number of picks.
Yeah.
So Anthony Davis comes with a giant price on his own. I'm saying Lucas is only a bit higher. Luka, you take Anthony Davis out the trade and I give 4 picks for him, sure. But you don't. Anthony Davis is already worth 3 or 4 first round picks.
Yeah.
Same thing if you put Kevin Durant up. Say it's the Suns and not the Lakers.
Yeah.
Right? And it's Nurkic and whatever. Name a random low value Suns player, and they go Kevin Durant and a first round pick for Luka. Does that get vetoed? Anthony Davis is a top 10 to 15 player. He's not a 20 to 30. He's top 20.
I don't have a problem with Anthony Davis per se. That's not what my issue is. My issue is that I just don't think they got enough future assets back for someone who's as young as what he is, right? Okay. Now this is a joke, but you know sometimes when jokes tell you the truth. So this is a guy called at Moneyball Memes.
Oh, no.
And it's got Billy Bean sitting at the desk, and it's got that amazing stats, wizard. Have you seen Moneyball, right?
Yeah.
Billy, this is Luka Doncic. He's a top 5 player in the NBA, and he can be an all-time great. His defect is he gets a little bit chunky sometimes. This guy should cost us our entire roster and 10 firsts, but we can get him for just Anthony Davis. And I feel like this is the funniest NBA meme joke maybe of all time. And the reason why it's so funny, because it's true. Do you know what I mean? Like, it should have been AD plus 10 picks.
Right. So if Anthony Davis is being traded to another team, what does he get in return? But that's what I'm saying. Everyone would be like, "Oh my god, what? They only got 4 first round picks back for Anthony Davis?
Yeah,
that's insane." Like, I'm saying that AD's has his own value in picks. I'm not saying they did fleece the Mavericks.
The Mavericks mucked this up so badly. Like, all they had to do was
I don't think it's 3 picks different. You had to orchestrate a different trade to get to get it off OKC and get, say, their bucket of 15 picks, right?
Yeah.
Who do they give up to do that?
Can you imagine if they somehow put Shea and Luka together?
Imagine they'd gone, Chet's healthy, let's get rid of him. Yeah. Send him over.
Chet and 20 picks.
Yeah.
But I actually feel like the Mavericks fans
will be... quality player, that's when you get the more picks. And that's what most trades happen, is one superstar goes over in a bucket of eggs with some picks on it, go the other way.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis isn't an egg. You know what I mean? Like, he's fragile. I'll give it that. But
he's older and he's fragile. Yeah. So I think that's where my issue lies, is the age difference. So let's recap this in 5 years and see where we're standing, right? I think that's the thing, yeah. And I think this nonsense, that the narrative that Nico is trying to portray is like, defense wins championships and, we're going to win the championship this year. Like, come on. Like,
honestly,
Nico
was just playing games on 2K and thought, you know what? I need Anthony Davis on my team. Traded for it. Don't know how he got it through because the game didn't even allow it. He goes, I'll see if I can get it done. But, yeah, I don't doubt that the Lakers win this trade.
I think now's the perfect time to also say to people that Nico has now hired a full-time security guard because he's been getting death threats.
Death threats? That's insane.
Yeah. People have been protesting outside the Mavericks thing. They've given up their season tickets.
Rob Pelinka's not issuing any death threats. He's quite happy with the trade.
Yeah, so ESPN... Tim McMahon actually said, look, lines have been crossed. And I think that's absolutely right. I think people should not be
for sure
making death threats. Like, it's just basketball, guys. I accept you're upset, all that type of stuff, but geez.
Like, they're protesting out the side of I know.
Oh, man, we've still got so many more trades to go through. All right, should we just read these off really quickly?
You can read the ones that are before the Luka trade are just sort of, they've already happened.
Okay. So you reckon that's it?
Yeah, look, we can recap it quickly, like a brief Clipper, like Tucker going to the Jazz, he's been waived, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's already been traded
Same
again.
as Mo Bamba. Like the Jazz are just helping people.
Yeah, Nick Richards.
Patty
gone
Mills
to the
has gone to the
Suns.
Clippers.
Patty Mills to the Hornets get Josh Okogie.
Yep.
The Lakers get Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton. D'Angelo Russell goes to the net. Yeah, so we're going pretty far back in time. So that's pretty much that's the whole trade deadline, isn't it? Yep. Look, Adam, thank you for a fantastic episode. Thank you for letting me go through every single trade. This has been awesome. I was actually really looking forward to tonight's show just to do that. So thanks everyone for listening. Thank you to our Central Coast Radio listeners. We appreciate you.
We do. And we'll see you all next week.